Good morning, it's Brian. You are on the Art of Startup War. Again, we only bring in entrepreneurs and startups that we have invested in. Why have we invested in these companies? Because we believe that this is the future of everything. We see the innovation, we see the team, we see the market opportunity, we see the timing, and we see an opportunity to be able to break through and build a multi-billion-dollar company, if not a trillion-dollar company. This particular episode today has never been more true. We are looking at the future of banking. We are looking at the future of money. We are looking at how it is transacted. We are taking one of the most exciting continents on the planet that is in the middle of an explosion right now, and we are taking advantage of this wonderful timing to be able to build an opportunity that would not have been possible before. So I want to talk all about what new banking looks like. I want to talk about all about the challenges within the existing banking. Like any of us need to be reminded how crappy existing banking is. And I want to talk about the bridge between the two. Michael from VPD Money, welcome, my friend.
Yeah, well, good afternoon. Hi, Brian. Thanks for having me on your show.
You ready? You ready for the future of everything money-wise?
Always ready.
No, this has been great. I love this. I remember I've been watching the innovation of banking, or at least the evolution of banking, probably would be better said, over the last 5 or 10 years. And I've watched some of the companies, over in Europe, Revolut, and a few of the others who have fumbled their way through. I've watched the folks like Brex over here do the same thing, and all looked at one fundamental problem that everybody was facing, which is just that banks haven't evolved in 100 years. Really the same, if anything, it's probably the only industry in the world where they have devolved, where all of the wonderful services they used to have gone away, but they replaced them with nothing, right?
Indeed.
At least you had somebody smile at you when you used to walk into a bank. Now, I got to tell you a story here. I don't normally have a really good relevant, like in the last 48 hour story to bring out, but this is just gorgeous. I went over to my bank in Ireland that I just keep there in case I need to have cash. That's all. Like I never keep much in there, but I have a little bit of money in there. So when I want to go there and just have some cash local, I can do it. And the bank, I won't say who it is, but it's the permanent TSB, right? And anyway, so I went into the bank and I said to them, hey guys, I want to take some money and I want to be able to take it out and do this and blah, blah, blah. And they said, oh, I'm sorry, we're a new type of bank. And I said, oh, that's wonderful. That's what I love. We invest in new types of banks. What type of new type of bank are you? And they said, well, we're a cashless bank. And I went, God bless you, right? So you are a high street bank that used to provide really good service. People would walk in, there'd be a bank manager, take care of you, give you whatever you needed, help you with the little things. Now you have no bank manager. You have no service. You don't even really have people here. The only reason you're here is probably because you're lost. And you don't have cash. Really, you have devolved to the lowest possible level in banking. Now, you've seen this, right? Which is why you decided to build the bank of the future, which actually I see as the bank of today that just the current banks forgot to build.
Yeah.
Tell me about the genesis. Tell me about how you came up with the idea. Tell me about the challenges and the problems that you saw in the banking system, which I'm sure are the same as the rest of us see every single day. But more importantly, the moment that you believed that you could create a company that could solve these problems.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. I like the story of the cashless bank. Yes. My journey. As you well know, it all started when I was very young. My mom used to, I used to come back home and give my mom this letter from school towards the end of the month, and but I always noticed that she's always cried anytime I give her that letter. So one day, I was very young. I opened the letter and it was a demand for my school fees. Now, not that my mom wasn't working; she was working, but what the bank was providing doesn't fit in with our own schedule or our own cost entry. So now there are 1.7 billion of people in my mom or a similar situation. They're described as unbanked. And there's this myth about the unbanked that they might not have money. They do have money. But the way the bank is structured, if you look at it, it's about 250 years old entity. Regulation have been built around banks. Those regulations have they shouldn't even be. Now, in Europe, PSD2 have done something about it. They trying to, because what happened is banks become cartel. And when there's a lack of competition, there will be lack of innovation. So effectively, banks are serving their customer thinking they're doing a favor rather than they're providing service. Mm-hmm. On the surface, you have, used to have branch networks, in a different generation, people used to have relationship. Your dad in Europe, your dad would take you to go and introduce you to to his bank manager. Mm-hmm. Over the time, you will build relationship. But what the bank has done is they lost the relationship, they lost the technology, and worse still, they were shackled with legacy infrastructure. Mm-hmm. Why would some banks, why would they have 26,000 programmers just trying to keep the ship going? Just one single bank. Mm. Where, the like of Revolut and Co that you mentioned, they only have less than 1,000. They only have few hundred, less than hundreds in terms of programming. Mm-hmm. It's because they've created all these data. Now that data doesn't fit into today's world. And worse still, the new generation they want a bank that fit for purpose. They don't want the kind of banks that wants to charge you for every single thing you do without necessarily adding any value to your society. Now, when you put all these different technology issue, innovation issue, service issue, relationship issue, when you put them together, you will realize that bank, as they reach their natural sell-by date.
Yeah, like that.
They literally reached their natural. It's happening in telecommunication.
Yeah, not even like they've reached, like they're like a smelly chicken sandwich. They have passed their sell-by date. And actually, your point about cartels is really interesting. I want to say I've never thought of banks as cartels, because I have, but I never really verbalized it as cartels. But it's a great description, because if I think of the banks in Ireland, the Allied Irish banks, the Bank of Ireland, the Anglo-Irish banks, they regularly met at dinners in closed rooms and had conversations about not what they should do together with their customers, but what they did with their customers in very nice secret speak to what they should continue doing. Because if you own 90% of the market, then that's fine. Nobody has any choice to go anywhere else. The wonderful thing that's happened about their sell-by date is that not just that they've reached their sell-by date, but that the market has realized they've reached their sell-by date. And that's why all of these technology competitors are coming through. And I loved it when we first spoke and you said to me, Brian, we are creating the bank of you. Because for too long, customers have felt like they're doing the banks a favor by putting money in there to be given nothing back. Nothing. Yeah, we don't get interest. Absolutely. We get nothing from them. We get charges from them. Actually, we pay the banks to hold on to our money on a monthly basis. So your whole idea of we're going to create an entire suite of services that goes inside that, with no services all fit under one banner, which is the Bank of Brian. And so tell me a little bit about that and how that works and how it turns into something so huge that it transforms absolutely everything.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, when you look at what you're trying to do with bank, what do? You need money, you want to pay someone, you want to. Now, what we look at is everybody will agree that if they can be given, I will use pizza as an analogy here. You have a pizza base, that's VPD. will now give you different kind of toppings. So you create your home bank of brand by selecting what fit your purpose. In doing so, you're not carrying everybody cost, which will enable VPD to serve you better and charge you less for it. But what the current structure at the moment, you cannot break it into pieces. So what we've done is we created a microservices, whether it's cashback, whether it's you want to link your pension or you want to link all your banks, whether you want to make sure that your bank roam like a mobile phone, services that you need at your own choosing time, because it's a bank that's been built by you. Your experience will be different from Michael's experience. In doing so, we give you a better customer service, a better access to a raft of microservices that serve your need. And the aim is to eliminate or reduce costs for you and let you, because we believe that people knows, I won't know your problem more than you, Brian, because I'm not you. But what I do know is I can created a pool of microservices that you can use as a Lego to solve your problem. That's what I do know. And when you have that, start having that experience where people can create a unique bank of you that's served three things: it reduces your cost, a better user experience, and you extend, it allows your money to go further. Because you're not carrying the reason why we can do that is because we don't have legacy issue. And even banks, as we speak now, microfinance bank, we've been seeing them using microservices, even though we haven't built it for business yet. But they so find the value proposition that other people started to use it in order to derive value. Because it's simple. It's about you getting value from your bank. And the best way to do that is to leverage technology to let you build your home bank on VPD Money's rail. That's how we'll be able to serve the market. And there's a unique in terms of access. What we've done in Nigeria, for example, what we've created, what we built is we allow people to use POS. You know, POS is what people use. Everybody use POS. You go to shop, give them your card, they use POS. What we go and do is we also extend our bank to be on that POS. So you can now use POS to onboard, or you can use POS to withdraw. So in doing so, you've given more people access and opportunity. Access to get on the rail, access in terms of money if they want to, because some people might be in a remote area. And we all agree that there are more POS in Nigeria, for example. There are over 650,000 POS versus 4,000 under 5,000 bank branches.
That's very brilliant, actually. And I should have mentioned at the beginning. So when I talk about the fastest growing continent in the world, I'm talking, of course, about Africa, right? And if we look at Africa, the dynamics of Africa and how it's positioned, how the population are positioned, is entirely different from other areas where banks may have been, where they've become legacy banks now, but they've been established for an awful long period of time. Like, there's no point in having a central branch where it takes somebody 5 hours to walk or to get to that central branch. You want to make sure that they can get access to their money where it is. So I actually think that's really clever to be creating almost a branch system in every place that there's a POS system, that there's a point of service system, right? And that means for the Bank of Brian, I can get access to my money wherever I need to get access to that money.
Yeah, you can walk downstairs. I'm sure there's a shop opposite you can go there and get money, or you can go there and onboard and pay money into your home bank. Just like you were saying before, that you went to the branch and the technology have moved. Technology have enabled us to bypass certain parameters. But the banks, because of their structure, is almost impossible for them to move in with the speed and with the flexibility they require for you to serve the market. And that is working to their own disadvantage.
I love that. They actually said to me I could go over to the post office and withdraw some money from the post office, which I thought was just beautiful as well. And then, so I love that. I love the POS. You provide an instant withdrawal network for anybody anywhere around Africa, which has got hundreds of thousands of POS systems, millions of POS systems actually. And then that will also provide a methodology for those people with the POS systems to make a little bit of revenue on those, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the other individual services that I will get for the Bank of Brian, and then also talk to me a little bit about how you as a bank will know what I need best, or are you relying on me to tell you?
No. So what in terms of how do we know we're using artificial intelligence to look at what people are actually, it's like a microservice basket that you select. For example, you might think, okay, Brian, you go and play tennis. So you select cashbacks on a lot of things related to tennis.
Nice.
And we're even doing something recently that we're going to launch an updated version that you even get news feed about tennis and games. So it's so personalized to you, but it's things that you will select when you are onboarding then we'll also we'll let the artificial intelligence work in a telemetric way, which will say, Brian, this t-shirt that you bought and so time, if you have checked so place, this is the cost, this is how much you could have saved. So it monitor all your pattern in terms of how you, and also purpose, not because we want to keep an eye on you in terms of compliance, because we want to see how do we serve you better. For example, when we start rolling out updated version, if you're a Uber driver or something, you can plug in your APIs. So if you have done a ride and the ride is, you're not going to get paid until a week, you can, because you already plug in the stuff, we'll know how much ride you've done, how much Uber owe you, how much is due. It allows to make an informed decision to see that, okay, you've done $500 for this week. You can withdraw 100 out of it because you've already connected through APIs your Uber drive to. And that is a problem in Africa because people have to buy petrol and you also have what we call bulk payment and reconciliation. So if you're someone who wants to pay individual, then you also have designated payment. So you can actually send a code to someone and that person can use that code through USSD to withdraw based on the set amount that you send to that person. Link payment, bulk payment, API, you can connect all your balances. If you want to see your balancing from investment, from few into the banks, and your bill payments, all your bill. But what we also doing in terms of added services, places like KFC and few other brands, we are getting a deal with them in order to get you the cash back. Unfortunately, a lot of people are not getting cash back in Africa because there's no channel to draw that cash back. For example, Microsoft, I think Amazon and Health, they have cash back for students. Only in Africa that people cannot access it because there's no system that integrate that for them and say, okay, if you purchase this, you get cash back. And our mandate, our purpose, what we're trying to do is to at least save you 20% of your wages per month. That's what we're trying. If we have done that, I think we'll be doing great.
I like this. So what you're talking about is funny. Like if we look at money and what money represents today, everywhere in the world, I don't care how much money you have or what continent you're from. For me, it really forms the vision of a modern day slavery, because we are what money we make. It's really sad, actually. Every
Indeed.
single thing that we represent is what money we make, and then how we allocate that money out to expenses. And what's so terrible about money is it's unforgiving. If you earn $50,000 and you're in the United States, and that would technically put you onto the poverty level, and you can't afford to pay for things, and you're really struggling, but then you earn $100,000 and you buy a new car and you get a bigger house and then suddenly you're in the same place, right? I actually had a friend say to me, I earn $147,000 a year and I cannot afford to buy myself a sandwich. Like, that's what a terrible bondage money is to people. So what I love is the fact is that really you're taking this one area, which is the evil that controls much of our life, and you're turning it into a tool. And you're saying, if you need this amount to have a good life, well, we're going to help you actually get the most out of the money that's coming in. We're going to help you not just get the best returns, not just get the best cashbacks, not just the best loyalty. We're going to help you buy at the best pricing. We're going to help you go to the best places and get the best deals at the best prices. We're going to help your money shape your life in a positive way, because it's built into what your currency actually represents. And so it's very powerful. And then, so talk to me a little bit about, because this is huge, like this vision, if we're talking about epic vision, epic version 3, like this is as far as it goes. Talk to me a little bit about the challenge actually building this and getting to market, and where you are today with this.
Okay. So, I mean, for your audience, I have a background. I've exited a fintech before, so it gave me 10 years insight into the real nut and crannies of the problem. Now, every time you're trying to build new things, your first challenge is not the market, because you've already get the insight that the market need this. It's the authority in terms of regulators. So the regulators would tell you that, oh, okay, we have never seen that before. What would be the implication? And when they haven't seen something before, although now they're open to it because I have a track record in terms of challenging the current model that everybody runs in payment on fintech within West Africa. We launched that model within the stuff, and over 100,000 businesses have benefited as a result of that. So with this, some of our challenges this. One of the key things in building anything is to first of all say, who am I building these things for? And 2, how do I make sure that I satisfy the compliance? And how do I make sure that my own road to market strategy it meets with my speed? Because we are moving with speed. We started with partnership with a bank because we didn't have our own license, but every single month we are hitting that bank threshold because we know that customer need this, and transaction started from $27,000 per month. This December, we just smashed our own record. We processed over almost $6 million per month.
Boom.
From just a year ago when we started $27,000 a
Boom.
month. So
that's huge. I just want to take a pause for that, because that's huge. The blood, sweat, and tears that goes into convincing consumers that what you're building is better for them, then getting consumers onto your platform, and then having them believe in you enough that they start to increase the amount of transactions, and then to build that up to $6 million. That's a huge amount of transactions to do in such an early period for such a young company.
That's correct. And what we're trying to do in the process to now we But in December, we got our cooperative license, which it give us a little bit the regulatory issues, and that's why each of the states you are moving to, you get on with your own license that allows you to do that volume. There are other things that we want to do, that we want to switch on, but until until the license come, you can't switch off certain things which affect the revenue, the immediate revenue. But each of those steps, we're hitting the mark, we're hitting the milestone, and we are running so hard that a lot of customers, even the banks themselves, in terms of microfinance bank, started using the product because they've seen that it give them value. And another challenge that we'll look at is how many customers that we can. At the moment, we have over 36,000 people waiting for our card. We've already secured strategic partnership, exclusive strategic partnership with Visa. So we now have 33,000 people, 36,000 people be on waiting list, literally asking us when we're going to have this car. So we're trying and we're moving as fast as possible to finish our rounds, so we can be able to do all these things simultaneously.
Incredible.
That's the challenge that we've got.
Incredible.
Keeping up with the growth.
So listen, everybody listening is going to 100% get the digital bank. I don't know if I know anybody who likes Bank of America or Chase Bank or Wells Fargo. I don't know nobody. I don't know anybody that I've ever spoken to that said to me, I was talking to the bank manager. They are the nicest and best. Nobody in the whole world of all of the people I know. And I know lots of people, right? So everybody is going to entirely buy in to the digital bank concept. Even more so, everybody is going to buy into the digital bank of you concept, whereby we're going to make money work for you rather than make you working for money. It's awesome, right? Everybody's going to love that.
Yeah.
They're also going to love the story about how you've built it up, 36,000 waiting list, how you built up your traction. You have a phenomenal product. You have an incredible team. You are an exited founder of a hugely valuable business. So all of it fits together. I want you just to talk now about what the next steps look like. I would also like to look at what do the digital competitors look like within the region. Let's forget the traditional ones. Those guys are a waste of time.
Yeah, okay.
But let's look at any digital challenges that you feel that you may be faced with in the region and where you feel your edges over those people. You don't need to mention them and say their names, but just speak about them. And then also let's talk about how much money we're going to raise next and what that money is going to be used for. I really want to paint a picture for all of the investors that are listening here about how you build the most important bank in Africa in the year 2030.
Yeah. Okay. So to start with the competitor landscape, there are about three that I think is worth noting. And the one started in 2019. They've raised about $50 million within that short space of time. Within 18 months of starting, they raised $50 million. So obviously they're doing their branding, they're doing their marketing, and customers are asking us and say, well, wait, no one, like you said, nobody is interested in traditional bank anymore.
Yeah,
people are looking for the likes of our competitors. But what we're trying to do, the difference between us and the competitor is simply they focus on, we'll give you free banking for certain number of time. We said no, rather than recreating a modern version of the old bank, we created a total different bank that allow people to build their own bank.
Amazing.
And you have a skill that is free. So but one thing about market is you need, in banking industry, you need a lot of brand recognition. To get brand recognition, you need to do advert, you need to do reach and campaign. All the customer that we've done so far till date, we haven't done any, rather than our social media page and everything, we haven't done billboard and all the necessary thing that's needed, because after all, people, you're talking about people's wages going to your system, and they need to know that their next neighbor knows you in order to patronize you. So that's part of the reason why we're raising, and we're also raising so we can acquire the next phase of our license that will allow us to even, I mean, we're looking at between this quarter and next, we're looking at 500% growth between before end of Q1.
Incredible.
The growth is massive. The population are massive. In Africa alone, there's 350 million unbanked people in Africa alone. We believe within our 2 years, getting 3 million customers should not be a challenge, because when you give people value, people will spread it too. And it has demonstrated. We did a campaign that was meant for a month. We were totally overrun with a lot of account opening requests. 31,000 in 6 days. We were expecting 2,000 in a month. So
incredible.
We just need to move very fast. We're looking to raise $1.7 million in order to meet with our next milestone. And our next milestone, we want to increase our customer user base to just on half a million, then eventually move them to 1 million user base.
How exciting. And you've built what you've built today with how much money you raised?
So we've built what we built today with just $350,000.
Incredible. And again, for all investors who are looking at this from the United States, $350,000 would not buy you a prawn sandwich if you're building a startup over here. Just absolutely nothing. To be able to do this and build it. So, and again, to take it to that next level, if they've created miracles with $350,000 and gone head to head with the biggest digital banks in Africa, imagine what they can do with $1.7 million. And then, so what's the plan for the $1.7 million? Obviously, we've invested money into you. We absolutely believe in you. We love the team. We love the technology solution. We love your direct access to market, the brand that you're building around that. We adore the Bank of You as the total brand that you're building. How's it looking with everybody else? What's the plan?
Yeah, so the plan is the first thing we're doing is we want to switch on some revenue channel. So we're buying this. We've identified a license that we'll be buying. We'll be doing the acquisition of a license because we believe that it's quicker. It meets with our own speed in the market. So for our license, we're expanding we're at a stage now where we need to expand the team a little bit. Team in terms of specialists, business development, marketing, and few other team. And it's also very important when you're working in this field to have a very strong internal audit and compliance team to make sure that all the technology are working the way that they're supposed to, just to build that robust foundation. Then customer acquisition, we are blasting ourselves. We believe we'll be able to get 500,000 customers within that short space. And we'll also expand our cloud infrastructure. We don't want two big teams. We just want specialists. Majority of our team currently now, we're just about 11 people, and majority of them all have fintech experience. Fintech, security experience, project experience. So they're all unpicked in terms of now wants to do sales, business development, getting the card team in place, the fraud team, expanding the fraud team to make sure that you have a gatekeeper to make that overlook all the necessary stuff. That's what we do. And we need to do marketing because customer acquisition will increase our revenue significantly. Both marketing and the license we want to buy right now will enable us to increase our revenue by 800%.
Amazing. I can see it's going to be really interesting the place the banks play in this evolution, because I can see a lot of the banking institutions themselves. I mean, we already see it with Visa and MasterCard already putting money into companies. I can see the banks themselves starting to invest in, because they know this is not really a war that they can win. They can just choose the best side and make sure that they have a part in what's going to come afterwards.
They've asked us before. They said, "Oh, do we want to invest? Do we want investment?" But they still bring the attitude of, "Okay, can I invest in you? But come and sit down, then put my brand that I'm the one supporting you."
Yeah, exactly. So they're going to want to see that. I read about BlackBerry this morning, and BlackBerry had finally closed down their last telco lines, and so it was RIP BlackBerry.
Wow. So they've closed that entirely.
Yeah, they have. They're now a cybersecurity company. And so when I think of BlackBerry, I do think of the banking institutions and where it's going to go to. And now it's just a question of money, and it's just a question of the race. Your brand is right. Your team is right. Everything else is in place. We know that 1.7 million will take you to that next level. And then I'm guessing we're going to hit a Series A towards the end of 2022 and probably go for a $10 to a $20 million round, I imagine. But maybe if you can paint... 20 million, wonderful. And then if you paint that picture about what you expect that to do, and then how you believe, we can't really talk about future value, but we can talk about the amount of customers that you're going to have on board and where you think that's going to take the company afterwards.
Our Series A will happen next year, definitely. Towards I would suggest that towards between Q3 and Q4 with the way we're moving in our market. It's typically Series A is between 15 and $35 million. That's what we're trying to do is we believe that with that $20 million, we believe that we will have more than 3 to 5 million customer with that $20 million, which would take us to unicorn parameter.
Yes.
Let me give you an example. Our competitors, they have customer of, I think, they just over 300,000 customer, and they were value when their last rate, they were value for $500 million. We haven't started. We have 50,000 customers.
God bless
we just
you.
started.
God bless you. We invested in you. This is wonderful.
Yeah, we just started. So they that's when they raised $50 million at a $500 million valuation, and at that time they just have under $500 million customer.
I love it.
And to get the customers, it's not the problem. It's how we run within the market, the speed, the winner take it all, how we capture, then start spreading across the continent before connecting within the continent.
Incredible. I want to finish with my statement for other investors about why we are and will continue to stay unbelievably excited about this opportunity. And then, Michael, if you could just finish off by giving everybody your email address, any contact details, probably email is the best one, and then just a glorious finish on where you see the future of it. And just while you're putting that together, let me just see it from my side. There's a couple of components here which are really interesting and important. The first one is Africa itself. And we noticed this about 3 to 4 years ago. I would say a lot of other investors have come in the last year or two, but we saw this way out. You have the fastest growing middle class on the planet. You have the fastest growing population on the planet. You have a demographic that is spending more money today than ever before, and that is going to continue by a magnitude over the next 5 or 10 years. It's not just, oh, you can't ignore this. No, this is the biggest. And it's right here in front of us. It's right at the beginning. The second thing about Africa, the increase in unicorns in Africa over the last year and investment in Africa is increasing by a multitude of 10 times. That is 10 times the amount of investment, 10 times the amount of unicorns. This is going to exponentially increase over the next couple of years. Number 3, inside Africa, the most awesome, most followed, most sought after future unicorn is in the fintech space. So you have all of that stuff happening. We have a founder who is an exited entrepreneur already, who has built a team of fintech folks. At least 50% or over of the team are purely out of the fintech area. They have built up customers with literally no investment whatsoever, just building it up themselves and breaking their way through, hacking on the back of other licenses while they build up their own. Now they've reached a level where they can stand alone and they need to break through. You have competitors that are getting silly valuations based on a small amount of customers, which we can pass. You see, I'm already saying we. This can pass within the next 2 years. I'm holding up 2 fingers against this. This is the time. So me, I'm not a promoter. I'm an investor. I only care about our investments, our companies, our founders, and that they are in the best possible position to go forward. This company is in a killer position. So anybody who has the opportunity should have a conversation with Michael. After we get past this round, folks like us are not going to get a chance to get into future rounds. There is no more angel opportunities, small venture capital fund opportunities. It's gone. It will move on to the big boys and girls. Michael, close us out with where you see the company going, and please make sure you incorporate your email details in there too.
Okay, thank you so much. First of all, let me give you insight about the market itself. All the people all the 3 competitors, so far, even though one of them have reached $500 million valuation, one of them have reached $1 billion valuation, so far, they are still serving, and I chose my word carefully, less than 1% of not even the whole Africa population of the interior assets market, less than 1% so far. Now, if you go to another state, they don't know some of those companies. The market is huge. The opportunity, these are real problems. These are problems to solve. This is not just creating another nice accounts that you can brag with your friend. This is solving real-time solution, giving people access, opportunity to do better with their own life, taking them forward, matching them forward. That's what we do. We're a street fighter of fintech within Africa. We understand the problem. We've studied. We are just applying. We collectively, we all know that you can't win alone. That's why the likes of Dojo Expert, Pesa Venture, even Visa are giving us money to search forward. My email is simeon@vpd.money. Please come and join us. Let's make history. Within 2 years, I expect us to be unicorn. Wonderful. No question, no retreat, no surrender, no doubt.
I love it.
Years,
this is Cobra Kai stuff.
We can't do it by ourselves. We have to do it with the help. We've
got to bring in great people around us. So, and we're already there. And Simeon, by the way, is Simeon. And you can always email me, of course, Brian at expertdojo.com. And I'm very happy to make the introductions. We're looking for investors. We're looking for industry experts. We're looking for folks that can help this company scale and grow. And we're looking for people who, like ourselves, want to make enormous returns on the investments that we make. So come on in. Thank you very much, Michael. Absolutely great. Let's build this sucker.